Hello and welcome to this second music theory video. In this video we're going to build up on what we talked about last time with note names and start talking about accidentals and how to make the major scale. If you already know note names, feel free to stay here, but otherwise please go back and watch that video so you know what's happening. Whenever we learn note names, we usually just learn the letters that go along with the white keys. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then it loops A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and so forth. However, there are plenty more notes on a keyboard or an instrument than that, and we have more sounds out in nature, so what do? How do we hit those other notes? And the answer to that is accidentals. The best way to explain this is to use a piano keyboard, so if you don't understand piano, I'm going to try to help you out as best I can here. Notice how there are different amounts of space between each note. For example, some of the white keys you have to go to a black key first and then back down to get to, where some other of the white keys are immediately right next to each other. These are called whole steps and half steps, with a whole step just being two half steps. In the plain letter names, you'll notice that these two, B and C, and these two, E and F, are the only half steps that occur. How do we get all of the other half steps to hit the black keys? We use symbols. In order to go up one half step, we use a symbol called a sharp. This is like a hashtag, octothorpe, pound sign. In order to go down one half step, we use a flat, which kind of looks like a lowercase b. For example, if we wanted to go to this black key right above an F, we would have an F sharp. We would go one half step up from F. If we wanted to go down from G one half step, we would have a G flat, and that actually ends up on the exact same note. This is what we call enharmonic. It means that they are the same sound. Similarly, if we go from A to A sharp, that is up one half step, and B to B flat is down one half step, and once again, we end up on the same note, the same key for both of those. A question then comes up that you will rarely encounter of what happens if we get an E sharp or an F flat. And really all that does is that it still moves one half step up or down, and we just end up on the next note. E sharp is F. F flat is E. Usually in music you would just write an E or an F, but sometimes they will use these weird sharps and flats just because it fits in the key of the song better, and they don't want to confuse you on the other notes, but it's not very common that you will see this. We do also have a symbol for going back to the white key. This is called a natural sign, and it takes you back to the plain letter name of that key. So, for example, if you are in a song that uses F sharps all the time and they want to use a plain F, they would put an F natural. You only have to use the natural sign if you're going from a sharp or a flat back to the white key version. If you just want to use the plain letter, you would just write the plain letter and everyone infers that that's what you mean. You may have also noticed whenever we are writing these on the staff, we put the sharp sign first or the flat sign first, whereas when we talk about it, we say F sharp and G flat. Think of it like dollars, how you put a dollar sign before the money amount, but whenever you say it, you speak it afterwards. Now that we know about sharps and flats, we can talk about the major scale. This is where we get into the more music theory side of things. I know a lot of people get scared of music theory or have a bad connotation with it, but remember, music theory is just a way to write down and talk to other people about things we have already agreed sound good. These rules and these guidelines are more just patterns that we have seen. A scale is a set of notes, and different sets of notes, different scales, are known by different names. Think of it like how we have odd numbers, or even numbers, or multiples of 5. All of these are sets of things that we just have a connotation with. The major scale pattern always follows whole step, half step, whole step, half step. Now, I want to point out here that you can see that this is just whole step, half step twice with a whole step in between. Each of those two is an older scale itself. To get some experience figuring this out, we're going to start in the key of C, which means that our key note, our home note, where we start is the key C. From C, we move a whole step to D, whole step to E, half step to F, whole step to G, whole step to A, whole step to B, half step to C. Here are the set of notes we ended up with on the staff. On the piano, these are just the white keys. This is why the key of C is so popular for piano students to start with. It is all of the white keys. It's really easy to identify. There are also no sharps or flats here because it is just the white keys. Now we're going to do the key of F. F is our new starting note. From F, we go whole step to G, whole step to A, half step to B flat, whole step to C, whole step to D, whole step to E, half step to F. Here's the notes we ended up with on the staff. We did have one note with a flat in it. So every single time we use the key of F, this same flat is going to show up, this B flat. Instead of having to write a flat every single time we use a letter B in the staff, we can move this flat sign over into our key signature. A key signature is basically a way to identify what key you are in and what set of notes you're going to use every single time that you play them. So by moving that flat into the B on our key signature, we now know as players or singers that a B in the music will always automatically have a flat. Let's do one more example. This time we're going to start in G. So our home note, our key note is G. We are in the key of G. From G, we go a whole step to A, whole step to B, half step to C, whole step to D, whole step to E, whole step to F sharp, half step to G. Here's the set of notes we ended up with on the staff. We now have a sharp in our set of notes. So the major scale for the key of G has one sharp. In order to make the key signature, we're going to take that sharp from the F and move it over to the key signature. This applies to every F you play. It doesn't have to be on this same fifth line F. If for some reason now you want to have an F natural instead of an F sharp, what you need to do is put a natural sign to the left of an F in the music. That natural sign, or any accidental, cancels out at the end of every measure, so the next measure goes back to whatever is in the key signature originally. So if we have one measure with an F natural, that applies to every F in the measure, and then on the next measure, it goes back to an F sharp. Sometimes composers will be nice to you and go ahead and give you the sharp as a reminder. We do have symbols to cover whole steps as well. A double sharp moves you up 2 half steps, so a whole step. And a double flat moves you down 2 half steps, so a whole step. These aren't very common, but I do want you to know that they exist. And there you have it. Those are the basics of how flats, sharps, and naturals work, as well as how to make a major scale. The next video is going to be all about key signatures and how to read them. Bye!